So no, just drawing is not enough to become good at art. So what exactly do you need to do to become good at drawing, and where can you start as a beginner without any art school? I'm going to talk about it today. My name is Rina and welcome to my channel. I do a video about digital art, and recently I made this video about how to draw any pose, even if you don't know anatomy. So make sure to check it out because this video also has some good tips for beginners. And I just want to start with saying that I have 10 years of professional art education. I studied 5 years in Russia in academical art school, 2 years in Europe, and 3 years here in the US, and I'm going to graduate art college next year. So I was drawing pretty much my whole life because I started drawing hardcore academic professional type of art very early on in my life. Of course, I was like 12 or something, or 11. I wasn't very aware that much of what is going on and what I'm doing, what I'm learning. I did this because I had to go to this art school. Like in Russia we have like regular middle school where you go to, and then at 2 or 3 p.m. you go to an art school or like music school or some language school, because kids should not just sit at home and do nothing. That's what my mom thinks. And I kind of agree. Of course I really love drawing and I did it for my whole life, but I wasn't really conscious of what I'm doing and what I'm learning until not that long ago. I was just going there, going to these art classes, doing these drawings and paintings, very academical style. I did it because I have to, not because I really loved it. So the first tip that I have for you is you should really want to learn how to draw and understand very well why you need it and the direction where you want to like grow in the art direction. This will take you a long time. It's like a commitment to art. If you want to become like more professional in it, if you want to make it as your career, you should be patient, really have the will to do it, because it will take a lot of time. As I said, it's really hard to draw and make yourself draw if you don't have a lot of motivation. And I'm not talking about this inspiration, this magical thing that comes on you once in the blue moon. No, I'm talking about real goals that keep you motivated, because lack of inspiration is not a real reason to not draw. So please forget about it. Inspiration is, yeah, it is kind of important, but if you want to work on that, you have to just work. And for that, you need a goal, a will, and patience. The second tip is about this magical inspiration. You have to learn how to get into this inspiration mood by yourself without waiting for it, because I've seen a lot of these beginner artists, or like just, you know, artists who do art as a hobby, who are like, oh, you know, I didn't draw for a while because I didn't have inspiration. I wasn't inspired. I have an art block. And don't get me wrong, art block is a real thing. It happens and burnout happens, but just don't put all the responsibility on this inspiration. You have to learn how to get into inspiration mood by yourself. And because you have this amazing tools on your hands, like your smartphone or your tablet, you can easily Google whatever you want. You can go to Pinterest, you can go to Instagram, any other platform, YouTube, and search for new artists. You have to do it intentionally. Search for new amazing artists. It's so easy to do these days. And on Pinterest also specifically, look through all these images and find the artists that you love, and you have to study their work very closely. You have to look, what exactly do you like about this and how you can use it for yourself. This will also help you to build your own style and help understand your taste in art and like what you like, your preferences. But this is more like advanced stuff. I'm going to talk about it later, or maybe even dedicate a video for that. But just to keep you inspired, you should look at new art constantly. So what do you have to do? So you have to create a folder, for example on Pinterest or on Instagram or just on your phone, and save every single artwork that you like and that you want to draw similar like you have this list of artists that are your inspiration, quite literally. Things like the level that you want to get to, or the style that you would like to pursue. Because even if you are interested, for example, in anime style, there are so many different ways to draw anime. Or if you like semi-realism, there is even more room to get into it. And recently I was like, as an artist, I have this preference in semi-realism, but recently I just look at all these different ways you can draw in semi-realism. You can use more soft brushes, make this like cloudy, like cute cotton candy drawings, or you can use more texture textured brushes, put more bright colors, and it will look amazing. And so these works that you're going to save, they have to inspire you and get you into this mood of inspiration, wanting to create something. So step number 3, maybe it sounds a little bit boring, but it's super important. Study basics. There's so many YouTube videos and lessons you can get even for free, books for artists and all that, like a lot of stuff you should learn. Some basics can include shading, anatomy, proportions, color theory, different coloring techniques, and so on and so on. There's so much room for learning, but the most important thing that I want to say is you have to build and train your muscle memory quite physically. You have to, practice drawing so much that some of the things you can do automatically and your brain just memorizes it into the visual memory inside your head. For example, I drew so many faces in my life that I can draw a face without looking at the references. Or another example, we were doing a lot of academical drawings during my art school years in Russia, and we had to use this cross-hatching method, or whatever you call it in English. And so there are these particular motions that your hand had to do in order to achieve this look, and it is quite literally a training, a physical training, because after summer break that lasts 3 months, we go in the beginning of year, September 1st, we go to school, and me and my classmates were like, oh my god, I'm doing this, I'm drawing just for like 5 minutes, I'm already so tired, because these 3 months I didn't practice, I didn't draw, and my hand forgot how to draw, quite literally, and I'm getting tired. So it's important. Tip number 4, find books about basics of anatomy and academic drawing. Some people would say, I don't need that, I want to draw anime style, I want to do this style, that style. You should learn how to draw some basic things first, and then you can apply these to any style, whatever style that you want, because you will never have to go back to it once you learn it. It's like riding a bike. You will know this information. Of course, you have to keep studying to keep the knowledge kind of fresh in your head, but it's really important. There are really good books, and I list some of them in the description. You should take a look at. They're my favorite. Also Russian books. Even if you don't know the language, you can just look at the pictures. And Korean artist books that I love, I put the links down below. You can use the images in the books as references, and you don't have to read every single detail. But if you're not going to the art school, this will help you to train yourself. Tip number 5, draw from observation. It is training your brain much better than drawing from photo. My art school teacher from Russia hated so much when we even open a photo, even for 5 minutes, to draw some small detail, because you should learn how to draw from observation first. I don't see anything wrong if you have to draw something from a photo, but in this case, use several photos. Use a lot of references, not just one, but really draw from observation, especially if you want to learn quickly how to draw people and full body and portraits. Draw from observation. The reason why it works so well, first of all, people are moving and it's even more challenging, but you will see the person in the 3D space, right? So second thing is that when you draw from photo, you draw from 2D to 2D. Like from 2D photo, you draw on the iPad or graphic tablet or in your sketchbook. It's from 2D to 2D, which means that your understanding of the space is not going to improve as much if you're actually drawing from the 3D space. And you can go to plein air, which is number one thing that I recommend to every artist that I did so often in art school, is you just take your sketchbook and go outside and draw everything that you want to draw. You can draw buildings or like architectural details, you can draw flowers, tree, people walking across the street. You can go to the cafe or subway and just sit down and draw whatever you see. The reason why it is so good is because you will have this limited time, that you will have this small limited time. In this limited time, you will learn how to draw sketches so fast and depict main forms and some of the most important details so fast that when you decide to use the methods of drawing anatomy that I talked about in another video, when you just set a timer and draw poses from a photo, it will be so easy for you. You will need like 30 seconds or 60 seconds to draw a sketch of the pose, even if it's something complicated. Tip number 6, you should draw what you love and what you're interested in, and make the process interesting for you if you feel like you're doing something boring. For example, I always recommend to beginner artists draw still life. When you have a still life and you have like a specific lighting and these objects, and you just sit down and then study them very closely, it will help you to learn the perspective and shading, understanding tones, and so many other things. But for a lot of people, example, like academic still life is pretty boring, and I get that. When I was in art school, it was so boring to draw these vases all the time or like these figures. But I have a good life hack for you how to make this process so interesting. So most artists have their characters like OC, or just in general your favorite characters from manga or from some, I don't know, movie or anything like that, or your OC. So you make a selection of some items, but they should be like physical items. You should have this selection of items, put some storytelling into this selection. For example, your character went somewhere and left these items there. Automatically you're already interested in the process because you are emotionally attached to the story that you have to tell. And always have some kind of storytelling through your still life. For example, you can draw shoes that are left somewhere on the floor and make some composition out of it, or you can draw food or something like that. This will really help you to improve your art without even going to the art school. I hope these tips are helpful for you. I'm going to do so many more videos about digital art, so follow me and I'll see you next time. Thank you, bye. Thank you.